speaking. How would you like to stay just as young as you are, not to grow a day older for the next 200 years?
We humans age, and there is seemingly nothing we can do about it. As we grow older, our bodies begin to fail. Piece by piece, our vital, life-sustaining machinery breaks down. It's why we struggle so valiantly with medicine, so the gears and cogs can run longer than they ever have, so that a vital protein may continue production, or an organ may continue its function, and for the delicate balance of life to hang on. Yet, despite how far we have advanced, a piece still eventually breaks that we cannot repair. A crack too deep, or a fitting too complicated. We humans realized a long time ago that we can't choose when this happens any more than a convict chooses his sentence. So instead, we romantically adopted death into our cycle of life. You're born, you're young, you get old, and you die. We learn to cherish our time on Earth, and choose to believe, out of desperation, out of no other option, that the ever-approaching end gives it all a purpose. If you could, would you change that? Recently, longevity research has been yielding promising results in building a hypothetical arsenal against aging. Take senescent cells, for example. These are cells that, after many divisions, are no longer capable of apoptosis, or cellular suicide. By injecting a protein that encouraged apoptosis, researchers at the University of Arkansas were able to destroy 80% of these cells in mice without damaging their healthy cells. In a similar study that engineered mice to selectively destroy such cells, their lifespans increased by 30% on average. Researchers are also exploring damage-reversing telomere repair, as well as replenishment of the vital NAD+ enzyme and stem cell therapy. These therapies may eventually let doctors delay, halt, or even reverse aging, but they're not quite ready. Yet, these are not distant advances either. Such therapies are on the verge of human testing, and the first people to benefit may already be born. After hundreds and hundreds of generations, we may be the first that can become old without being old. Understandably, the very concept of this makes people uncomfortable. Aging has been a fact for literally the entire length of human history, so when questioned, our most immediate objection is going to be that aging is natural, as the label of natural automatically creates a sense of necessity in our minds. Like those countless dystopian films where humankind unwittingly creates its own demise, eliminating aging would go against nature, toy with God, and take science too far. But hold on a second. If we choose to believe that all things natural must be necessary, then we have already repeatedly violated our beliefs. This is because of medicine, which, as a practice, as a global human pursuit, has always been dedicated to the suppression of Mother Nature's tireless efforts to destroy us. When wounded soldiers were dying en masse from infection in World War II, we developed penicillin. When mid-20th century outbreaks of polio crippled our children by the thousands, we started a vaccination program that virtually eliminated the disease from the US. For cancers, we created chemo to replace the scalpel, and for diabetes, we genetically modified E. coli to replace the pancreas. In the past, such conditions were seemingly hopeless and their suffering inevitable. So, when new practices and treatments arrived that could tame them, we welcomed them. Today, we celebrate those researchers and doctors responsible, the Jonas Salks and the Alexander Flemings, as heroes. Aging should be no different. Imagine for a moment that there is a hypothetical virus that infects 100% of the population at birth. One can live relatively symptom-free for several decades, but the virus is at constant work in the body. With time, it insidiously and irreversibly atrophies the muscles, diminishes the senses, congests the body, and throws the mind into decline. For many, it is a root cause of the cancer, heart disease, kidney disease, cataracts, or osteoporosis that results in constant pain. In the unluckiest of victims, the disease manifests as Alzheimer's or dementia, which destroys their reality before turning them into babbling amnesiacs. Yet, even those with the mildest symptoms aren't spared. The virus universally cripples and eventually kills all of its victims. With all those years of normalcy and social acceptance stripped away, this is the reality of aging. Would you then argue that it should be allowed to persist simply because it is naturally occurring? Or would you agree that it should be suppressed, like any other disease? To be clear, when we eliminate aging, we aren't eliminating death. Many people feel that living indefinitely will eventually lose its appeal, that after a while, one simply becomes bored. And that's fine. Nothing about a future without aging says that we can't decide to sleep when we're tired. Additionally, life extension might just be that, an extension, not forever. But such a prospect raises questions regardless. Imagine having 150 more years to live healthily, happily, and in the company of your loved ones. How would family structure change? Would we finally be concerned about climate change if we could live to see the results? If we had decades more to work and learn, how would that affect the pressure in our lives? Would our intense day-to-day rush slow down? Or would we simply have more to juggle through the years? We will face difficult questions if we choose to end aging, but it's simply unfair, cruel even, to cheat our future generations because we don't know the answers right now. In the meantime, the decision of whether we should control our lifespans draws nearer every day. Keeping this in mind, what do you choose?
My name is John M. Riley. I became a fireman in 1881. I've been an engineer for 42 years. And as this is my last run, I must all bid you goodbye. Goodbye, John. Goodbye, John. Goodbye, John.